Well, thank you very much for being here and listening to the presentation. I'm pleased that there's an audience. Feels like this conference is dead, so really appreciate you being here. So Osino is a gold development company active in Namibia. I'm the founder and the CEO. I'm a mining engineer, Namibian born, and I have a lot of history in Namibia that's very relevant to this company. But as a summary, so we have the Twin Hills Gold Project. It's currently in the advanced development stage. I would say it's one of the simplest, easiest, cleanest, but also one of the most mispriced pre-construction gold development stories out there. And I'll tell you why. Let's check, is this forward? Okay, so there was a bit of history. So 10 years ago, I acquired a project in Namibia called Otjikoto, which was sort of misunderstood at the time. We advanced it, drilled it out, got it to a PEA stage, and ended up selling it to B2Gold for $200 million in 2011. They built the gold mine. It became a very, very successful Tier 2, highly cash-generative project. It's about 15% of B2Gold's production, so it's arguably a billion-dollar project. And Osino really is our attempt, or not just an attempt, we've made a lot of progress, to do that again. So we started this company in 2015. I started it. Initially, it was an idea. Just a concept play. We put a large land package together. We did a quality exploration program. In 2019, we made a discovery through cover, and we knew immediately that this project would have serious legs. Since then, we have fast-tracked it, I think better than most. We've drilled 220,000 meters in 2.5 years. We've done a PEA, 3 resources, and we've just concluded a pre-feasibility study on the project with some excellent numbers. Being in Namibia is obviously a great place. Namibia is a world-class jurisdiction. I can truly say that. It is very trustworthy. Actually, I must use this line. Somebody said to me, "Oh, but you're in Africa." I said, "No, we're not in Africa. We're in Namibia." Big difference. So it's obviously very predictable, very stable, well-understood mining regime, very supportive regulators, supportive population. So, and we're demonstrating that. So we will advance this project to production very, very fast. I think by the middle of next year, we will be ready for an investment decision. Okay, so Namibia, obviously a good place. So we've got an evolving team. We have a high-class exploration team at the moment. We have a very credible study team. We're in the process of building an owner's capability so that we can actually deliver this project ourselves. We used to be seen as the next kind of development company that would be sold, but M&A hasn't happened. So, as a result, obviously, development stories are being sold off. You can see our share price performance there. We've outperformed the rest of the market. We were a quality explorer, and we're now a developer, and we've now lately underperformed the market. And I think it's a case of the baby having been thrown out with the bathwater. So we just have to keep on executing, and the share price eventually will take care of itself. Importantly, we have a really good share structure. So I met Ross Beatty in 2015. I sold him a project in Ecuador, and he took a liking to me, so he's our biggest shareholder. My family are very substantial shareholders. We've put a couple of $1 million into this project. We've been in all financings, etc. And we've got the range of Canadian and US and even some European institutions in there. So very, very good share structure. Conscious of time here. And we are, of course, in Namibia geologically. Don't worry, I won't hit you over the head too much. It's an orogenic belt. It's an emerging gold jurisdiction. It's largely undercover, so it's complicated exploration, but it also means that there are a lot of opportunities there. In fact, Andrew Pardy's other company that's recently made another discovery there recently. So it's certainly evolving. It has 2 operating gold mines, and we will be the 3rd. We are in a world-class district there, where between our project, which has 3 million ounces, and the historical exploration that has happened by Anglo very close by, we have about 10, 11 million ounces in that district. So these projects are generally lower grade, but they tend to become large, and ours will be no different. We follow the orogenic approach, so we have a lot of exploration upside. We've got an active exploration program, both regional, surface, and so forth. The core project is the Twin Hills project that we just put a pre-feasibility out on. And then we have a secondary project we acquired from B2Gold not long ago. We closed that deal about 6 months ago, and we will put out a maiden resource on that project in the next couple of weeks. And it's going to be a substantial resource that will make a material difference to our overall resource inventory. So lots of upside there, but of course the focus is on the Twin Hills project. which is, I said it's orogenic. It's sitting on a large regional structure that we identified using world-class Namibian geophysics. We executed a big regional sampling program over it in 2016-17, ultimately drilled it, and as I said, we've drilled 220,000 meters at that project. So geologically, this project is heavily de-risked. It's very, very consistent, but it has substantial upside still. Lots of near-pit ounces that can be added, and that will be added. So generally, it's a thick package of between 50 to 100 meters thick, of about 1 to 1.5 grams per ton on average. So our resource currently 3 million ounces at 1.1 gram per ton, but we have a very high reserve conversion. So we have 2.2 million ounces in reserves at around about 1.1 gram per ton. So the key, of course, is the pre-feasibility study. We're not getting much credit for the exploration and so forth that we're doing. We're not getting credit for the pre-feasibility study either, but it is a very real, very honest, very solid piece of work. It was done by Lycopodium, who are the preeminent African gold mining engineering group. And so the highlights are, it's got at 1,700 gold, we have about $500 million NPV. It's long life, low cost. We have about a 12-year life of mine currently that will grow. 200,000 ounces of production in the initial years and then tapering off, but we'll backfill that with ongoing exploration. And very credible costs, very credible numbers, both capex and operating costs. And of course, very robust economics. So this really is a high quality project that's misunderstood, and obviously the market at the moment doesn't care. And it has a high debt carrying capacity, etc. So this project definitely will get built, and soon. So again, a lot of detail there. We've got a high production rate in the early years. So as I said, a high debt carrying capacity, and we've actually commenced that project finance process. We have a lot of expressions of interest and deep interest from credit funds, royalty providers. So there is capital available. The equity does not seem to be available, but the real money is certainly available, and the corporates certainly also very interested. So that's the site layout. So as I said, Lycopodium did this work. You can think of it as kind of pearls on a string. So we currently have 4 satellite pits. It's a straightforward open pit configuration, quite a large processing plant, 5 million tons per annum, with a dry stack tailings facility. So that's what the plant looks like. It's stock standard, off the shelf, just like Otjikoto, which is the neighboring mine that I used to own, that B2Gold built and is operating. So crush, grind, gravity, there's an HPGR, and then CIL. So we've gone really deep in terms of met test work and all the engineering work that's part of this. So 5 rounds of metallurgical test work. It's not just geologically completely de-risked, but metallurgically as well. No fatal flaws, straightforward processing route. And that's what it looks like. So again, a lot of detail, a lot of numbers. You probably can't see this. It doesn't matter. As I said, it's long life. It's low cost. It still has a lot of upside. And then, so what's the plan? Or what are we going to do with it? So the way a mining project gets developed, for those of you who don't know, there are different phases: exploration phase, study phase, then there's usually a detailed design phase, and then you have construction. We're currently at the end of the study phase. It will culminate with a definitive feasibility study, which we will publish around the end of the first quarter next year. There will be a detailed engineering phase starting at the beginning of the year until about mid-year, which will enable us to order long lead items. And then, subject to project financing and subject to permitting, this project will be ready to go ahead around the middle of next year. As I said, the project finance process has just kicked off on the basis of the pre-feas. And the permitting is, of course, key. We anticipate very significant progress with the key permits, the mining license and the environmental authorization, in the next couple of weeks or months. So certainly by the time this definitive comes out at the end of the first quarter next year, this project will be truly shovel ready. And then the question is, how do we move forward? So as a company, we are currently in the process of building a true implementation capability. So we're putting an owners team together that will be able to deliver this project in the form of an EPCM. So engineering, procurement, construction will be done by the engineering group, and we will manage and oversee that. And then it's a 2-year build period. So if everything goes well, if everything goes according to plan, we anticipate first gold production in the middle of 2025. So I'll skip over that. Yeah, so of course, being a small exploration company that's rapidly transitioning into becoming a developer and even an operator of gold mines in the future, we have to work with specialists. So we work with the best we can find. All the work that's gone into this project has been done to the greatest degree of detail, very diligent, very thorough, and that was led by Lycopodium. But of course, we work with a range of other specialists on all of the other components. On the resources, so the other thing that really sets us apart is that we've had a very high resource to reserve conversion rate. So 2.2 million ounces in reserves out of 3 million ounces in resources puts us into the peer group of the Marathon, Orezone, G Mining Ventures. That's really where we should be, but our market cap is, I don't know, a quarter or a third of those companies. That's why I say it is such a mispriced opportunity. But I think the reason for that is because we've kind of been victims of our own success, because we've moved this so fast with so much drive and determination and conviction that the market just hasn't caught up with it. The market still has us in the small PEA bucket, and they don't realize that we actually have a near-term project that has all the boxes have been ticked. All right, obviously on evaluation, from a valuation perspective, we have high reserves, so in that peer group that I mentioned. Resources, around about 3 million ounces, so not that big, a bit smaller, but who cares about resources when you have reserves? From a valuation perspective, price per NAV is the appropriate multiple. We're at the bottom of the pack, less than 0.2, probably 0.15 or so. Our peer group trades at around 0.3, and that's the opportunity. You can look at it on a per ounce basis. It's the same story, so completely undervalued and misunderstood. Let me just skip over. And then, okay, capital costs. So this, by the way, on the website, so you can get that. The capital costs went up quite a bit, $375 million, but it's still low by recent standards. And this is, of course, a recent study that discounts all of the inflationary effects that we've seen. So just in terms of responsibility and sustainability, we're definitely ahead of the curve. We do believe in responsible mining and doing the right thing. This is a strategic project in Namibia. We have a very high profile in country because it's going to be, it has a massive socioeconomic impact. And so doing the right thing is very, very important, and we pay a lot of attention to that. And that is it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Heye. You have kindly left us a couple of minutes for questions, and over to the floor. Any questions, please?
Hey, nice presentation, mate. What do you see happening with your neighbours, the mine you used to own? There's gossip around the conference that B2 may be itself a takeover target. What would you see happening under that scenario with Otjikoto?
So obviously you should ask Clive that question. I can't talk on his behalf, but I'll be frank and direct with you. I think that B2 Gold is in confusion, so I think there's strategic drift over there. So I don't think they're looking for a transformative transaction. I think so. Everyone always thought that we would get acquired by B2 Gold. It hasn't happened. Doesn't mean that there's something wrong with our project. It just means that B2 Gold obviously has a different view of the world. Otjikoto is kind of coming to the end of its open pit life, so there's a major opportunity there. I would love to acquire it. I think it would be a great way to finance the construction of Twin Hills. Our project will dovetail perfectly with the closure of Otjikoto. But that's just dreams. So therefore, I can't control that. Obviously, I have a good relationship with Clive and B2 Gold, and I respect what they're doing. But they have so much good stuff in Mali that, they're not really thinking very much about us. Hope that answers your question.
One more question. Thank you.
What's your liquidity position, and how far will that get you?
Yeah, you hit it. That's our weakness. So we currently have $7 million in the bank, got another $2 million in veterinary funds coming in. So we are lightly financed. The heavy lifting has been done, so we can get to the definitive study with that. We have arguably finessed the capital markets too long. We're obviously very respectful of shareholders, so we always had execution. We never wanted to finance at too low a price, and the market turned against us. But that's okay. We're not desperate. So that's our position. So at the moment, of course, we have project financing imminent, and we have to evaluate the market on an everyday basis. We certainly won't finance imminently. I know there's talk around the room that people are expecting a financing. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. So we are nursing it. Luckily, as I said, the heavy lifting has been done and there are no major expenses coming up.
Thank you very much, Heye. I think that's...
All right.
Yeah, got to cut you there. And if there's any further questions, I'm sure people will find you outside. Thank you.